The bus screeches to a stop, its doors hissing open as a wave of warm, humid air rushes inside. The vehicle is packed, every seat occupied, with passengers standing shoulder to shoulder in the aisles. The low hum of conversations, the occasional ring of a cell phone, and the faint drone of the engine create a chaotic symphony of city life. Some passengers stare blankly out the window, lost in thought, while others scroll through their phones, oblivious to their surroundings. Lisa, a young black woman in her late 20s, sits near the front, her headphones on as she nods along to the rhythm of her music. She's dressed in casual yet stylish attire, a denim jacket over a fitted black dress, her curly hair tied up in a neat bun. Her eyes are half closed, enjoying the moment of peace in the otherwise hectic day. The bus jerks forward slightly as the next passenger steps inside, a pregnant white woman, Sarah, who looks to be in her early 30s. She clutches her belly instinctively, her face flushed from the heat and exertion. Dressed in a loose maternity dress, she carries a small bag over one shoulder. Her eyes scan the bus, searching for an empty seat, but all she sees are occupied spaces and indifferent faces. A man near the door glances up briefly before returning to his phone. A teenage boy with a backpack leans against the rail, earbuds in, staring at the floor. Sarah exhales, shifting her weight uncomfortably as the bus jolts forward again. She grips the metal pole tightly, trying to steady herself, but her exhaustion is evident. No one moves, no one offers her a seat. It's just another crowded bus ride in the city until Lisa notices. Lisa's music plays softly in her ears, but her focus shifts as she catches sight of the pregnant woman struggling to keep her balance. At first, she assumes someone will offer their seat. Surely someone will notice. A younger passenger perhaps, or someone sitting closer. But as the seconds pass, nothing happens. Sarah grips the overhead rail tightly, her fingers white-knuckled. She sways slightly with the motion of the bus, adjusting her footing to avoid stumbling. Her face is tense, her lips pressed together in discomfort. The heat, the movement, the weight of her pregnancy, it's all weighing on her. She glances around once more, her eyes silently pleading for someone to acknowledge her discomfort. Lisa exhales, pressing pause on her music. She glances around the bus, taking in the indifferent expressions of the passengers around her. The teenage boy with his backpack doesn't look up. The middle-aged man in the suit keeps his eyes glued to his phone. An elderly woman stares blankly out the window, lost in thought. It's as if Sarah is invisible. Lisa knows what she has to do. It's not a grand gesture, not something she expects to be praised for. It's simply the right thing. With a quiet determination, she pulls her headphones off and tucks them into her bag. Shifting forward in her seat, she places her hands on the edge, ready to stand. She hesitates for a fraction of a second, not because she doubts her decision, but because she wonders why no one else has done it first. Then, without another thought, she rises. She steps toward Sarah and gently taps her on the arm, a warm, genuine smile on her face. "Here, take my seat," Lisa says, her voice kind but firm. Sarah blinks, momentarily surprised, as if she hadn't expected anyone to acknowledge her struggle. "Are you sure?" she asks, her voice soft, touched by the unexpected kindness. Lisa nods without hesitation, motioning toward the empty seat. "Absolutely," she says. "You need it more than I do." Sarah hesitates for a brief moment, as if she can't believe someone has noticed her struggle. Her tired eyes meet Lisa's warm gaze, and in that instant, an unspoken understanding passes between them. The discomfort Sarah has been enduring, the weight of standing in a moving bus while carrying a child, the exhaustion pressing down on her, it's all acknowledged in Lisa's simple but powerful gesture. Lisa takes a small step back, giving Sarah space to sit. The pregnant woman's lips part slightly, as if she wants to refuse out of politeness, but her body betrays her. Her legs ache, her back throbs, and the moment she even considers declining, a sharp pang reminds her just how much she needs to sit. "Thank you," Sarah finally says, her voice filled with both relief and gratitude. Carefully, she lowers herself into the seat, adjusting her bag on her lap as she exhales a deep, weary sigh. She hadn't realized how tense she was until now, and the simple act of sitting down makes her feel like she can breathe again. Lisa grips the metal pole beside her as the bus jolts forward. She steadies herself with ease, now standing in the very spot Sarah had struggled to hold on to just moments ago. A few passengers glance in their direction, some out of curiosity, others out of mild surprise, but no one else says anything. Sarah looks up at Lisa, still processing the kindness she's just received. "I really appreciate this," she says, placing a hand on her belly. "It's been a long day and standing was harder than I thought." Lisa waves it off with a small shrug, as if to say it was nothing. "I get it," she replies simply. "You and your little one deserve a break." For the first time since she stepped onto the bus, Sarah smiles, a genuine, appreciative smile that reaches her eyes. She leans back slightly, finally allowing herself to relax, while Lisa remains standing, holding onto the rail, content with her decision. The bus continues its bumpy journey through the city streets, its tires rolling over uneven pavement. The engine hums steadily, punctuated by the occasional honk from impatient drivers outside. The world moves on, as if nothing significant has happened. Yet for Sarah, that small act of kindness has shifted her entire day. She leans back in her seat, her body finally able to relax, even if just for a little while. The discomfort that had been gnawing at her back eases slightly, and she places a gentle hand on her belly, feeling the slight movement of her baby. A wave of relief washes over her, not just physically, but emotionally, knowing that someone saw her struggle and cared enough to act. Lisa stands beside her, gripping the metal pole with a steady hand. She sways naturally with the bus's movements, her body accustomed to the rhythm of public transportation. She doesn't expect anything in return, no praise, no recognition. She just did what she knew was right. Sarah looks up at Lisa, studying her for a moment. She wonders about the kind stranger who so effortlessly gave up her seat when so many others pretended not to notice. "Thank you again," Sarah says, her voice softer this time. "It really means a lot." Lisa glances down at her and smiles. "No problem at all," she replies. "Just take care of yourself." For a moment, the two women simply exist in a shared silence, not awkward, but peaceful. There's an unspoken connection between them, a quiet acknowledgement of kindness and gratitude. Other passengers continue with their own lives. The teenage boy in the corner still has his earbuds in, staring at the floor. The man with the suit scrolls through his phone, absorbed in whatever is on his screen. No one else acknowledges what just happened. But that doesn't matter. Sarah watches Lisa out of the corner of her eye, still amazed at how a small gesture can make such a difference. It reminds her that kindness isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It's often quiet, subtle and unexpected, but its impact lingers. The bus slows down as it approaches the next stop, the brakes hissing as it comes to a halt. Sarah shifts in her seat, preparing to stand. The relief of sitting, even for a short while, has eased the ache in her legs. But more than that, it has reminded her that kindness still exists in the world. She gathers her bag and adjusts her dress, glancing up at Lisa, who still stands near her, holding onto the metal pole. Lisa's expression is calm, her gaze drifting toward the window as if lost in thought. She isn't looking for acknowledgement or gratitude. She simply did what she felt was right. As Sarah rises, she places a gentle hand on Lisa's arm, drawing her attention. "You're a good person," she says, her voice filled with sincerity. "I won't forget this." Lisa gives her a small, easygoing smile. "It's nothing really," she replies. "Just take care of yourself and that little one." The bus doors slide open, letting in the warm afternoon air. Sarah steps toward the exit, pausing for just a moment to take one last look at Lisa before stepping onto the sidewalk. As the doors close behind her, she watches the bus pull away, disappearing into the city traffic. She stands there for a moment, placing a hand on her belly, feeling the soft movements of her unborn child. Today could have been just another tiring, difficult day. But one simple act of kindness changed it. It wasn't about race or recognition. It was about humanity, about looking out for each other in a world that often feels indifferent. As Sarah turns and continues walking, she smiles to herself. She silently promises to pay the kindness forward, to remember that even in the smallest moments, people can make a difference.